Hello, greetings everyone, and welcome again to another edition of Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Craig Nolan.
Last show of February, I'm Daniel Pineda.
My name's Adele Quo.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
You get a redo on that one if you want. So here we are with
there.
another installment of Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News on this our last show in February 2020. Thanks for joining us, and I'll run down our principal items here on the list. News, of course. And as you may have noticed, Adele is here for another installment of
It's Easy Being Green.
We're getting pretty good at that. We almost have it down now.
CBB, better than your last name,
as I may or may not have mentioned, our roll-in. What is the roll-in tonight? Mother Road. Is that Denise? It is Denise, indeed. We think it's Denise tonight, talking about Mother Road. Our 55-plus news segment, and then our styrofoam mom, Miriam, Gennari, and her guest. And that's our show. But before we begin, social media reminder from Senor Pineda.
Absolutely, Mr. Nolan. You can watch the Arlington Weekly News on our very own YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Arlington Weekly News. And the number one, also facebook.com/Arlington Weekly News. And we can't forget the radio, right, Craig?
Also on the radio, WERA 96.7 LPFM. The audio from our show is on the radio.
On air.
On air, all right. Here we go. First of our news items, such as they are. Well, coming up on Thursday, February 2020, that was a while ago, Arlington County issued an email with the following subject line, and we're quoting now, proposed FY 2021 budget focuses on foundational areas innovation. The email states that and we're quoting now, the manager's proposal is consistent with the Arlington County Board's budget guidance. The message continues, still quoting, in addition to increased funding for school, metro, housing, and blank, the proposed budget recommits to shoring up key county infrastructure and services that have been impacted by the county's leaner budget years, close quote. This missing word after housing is part of the text. We have no idea what was left out. However, there are 14 more paragraphs before a shorter section near the end called Budget Highlights. And with more on this mystery, here's Daniel.
That's right, Craig. We're going to delve more into this. Under the section called Budget Highlights, there are 7 bullet points which include various items. The very last entry on the list answers a question we've been asking for months. It reads, funding to phase in board member salary increases over a 3-year period to meet the new salary caps that the Arlington County Board set in June of 2019. So there it is, at last. Despite earlier that the county board members were really giving themselves pay raises, but just the increasing cap, it appears that they really do intend to raise the salaries to the upper limit by the end of 3 years. So we get some more answers to our questions, Craig.
And finally, on this county board salary increase, even if the county board members end up with their $85,000 salaries at the end of 3 years, there's another question. How much house can a single county board member afford to buy on that increased salary? Well, Googling the question, how much house can I afford on $85,000 per year, gives the answer, $475,000 and $18, not counting taxes and insurance, which are usually included in that. That's not even enough to buy the land that the little bungalow that we mentioned a while back sits on. In fact, well, you heard it there, it's not enough to buy the land, so keep that in mind. Daniel.
And Craig, finally, onto some very sad news. Despite concerted fundraising efforts and the generosity of some county residents, Arlington Independent Media will be forced to reduce their staff and limit their time of operation to 40 hours per week. Some AIM members have already donated their own money to help with the upcoming spring drive, but more help is certainly needed.
All right. That's it, such as it is of our news. For our news items, we'll be back with CBB Community Bulletin Board right after we hear from Adele Quote, another installment of
It's Easy Being Green.
I did that just to get a smile out of it.
Exactly.
It worked.
The suspense is great. Welcome back to It's Easy Being Green. My name is Adele Quo, and our mascot, Joe Tree Frog, joins us to present 3 fabulous green events all on Saturday, March the 7th. First, Plot Against Hunger presents their 7th annual Spring Garden Kickoff from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Arlington Central Library. No gardening experience is necessary. Learn how to start a garden for the Arlington Food Assistance Center, that's AFAC. Learn how to donate produce to AFAC and hear from community garden coordinators and others about lessons learned. Free seeds and light refreshments will be available. Visit www.afac.org/spring-garden-kickoff to RSVP and for more information. Second, there's Eco Action Arlington. They're offering an opportunity to volunteer in a very substantive and impactful way. After their successful service project leader training last year, they decided to expand it to include outreach leaders. You may apply to become one or the other. Learn how to lead outdoor service projects from start to finish, or become an Eco Action Arlington ambassador for outreach events. Service project and outreach leader training takes place from 10 a.m. to noon at the Fairlington Community Center located at 3308 Stafford Street. Registration is requested, but walk-ins are welcome. Third, there will be a rain barrel workshop from 10:30 a.m. to noon at the Walter Reed Community Center. Rain barrels purchased from retail sources can be expensive. As part of a regional initiative, Northern Virginia Soil Water Conservation District offers build-your-own rain barrel workshops and distributes low-cost rain barrels to Arlington County citizens. You will learn how to install and maintain a rain barrel and take one home. Registration is required for all rain barrel workshops. You can register at www.fairfaxcounty.gov/soil-water-conservation/rain-barrel. That should be on your screen in case you are catching it on TV. Registration closes 3 to 4 days prior to the event. The fee per barrel is $55 for build your own and $65 per barrel for a distribution event. Only 2 rain barrels will fit in most vehicles. And since you can't be at all 3 events at the same time, Joe Tree Frog here wants to plug all the benefits of installing at least 1 rain barrel at your home. First, rain barrels provide your plants with water they love. Second, you can save money and water instead of using municipal water. And third, protect the Chesapeake Bay by decreasing the volume of stormwater runoff, moderate stream erosion, and decrease pollution, impairing our local streams. So remember, it's easy being green.
Roll out the rain barrel.
That's
We'll
right.
have a barrel of water. Okay, that's good. Rain barrels are good. Where did that come from? Holy cannoli.
A lot of emotion there.
Thanks, Adele.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it, as always, your EBG segments. Here we go, as promised, our CBB, Community Bulletin Board file. Well, we all know that everybody loves food. But did you know that food helped women earn the right to vote? Early suffragists raised funds for the movement by selling cookouts and recipes, and Arlington Economic Development is celebrating their efforts with a bake sale. Celebrate the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment while getting to know your local bakers. This is coming up on Wednesday, March 4, from 11 till 2 in the afternoon in the lobby at the Plaza Branch Library. They're located at 2100 Clarendon Boulevard. That should be fun. Daniel.
I love food.
We all love
We all
food.
do.
Food.
Well, do you dream of one day studying in Japan? Well, now's certainly your chance. Tohoku University, located in Sendai, Japan, will be coming to Arlington for a presentation on their Future Global Leadership Program. This program offers undergraduate courses in the areas of molecular chemistry, mechanical and aerospace engineering, and marine biology, all taught in English. Now is your chance to turn that dream of going to Japan into a reality. Find out more on Thursday, March the 5th from 7 to 9 p.m. That's at the Washington Liberty High School, located at 1301 North Stafford Street. Advanced registration required, and registration online at eventbrite.com. Craig.
And Daniel, also in our CBB file, kids with disabilities, despite their special needs, well, they're still kids. Arlington's Therapeutic Recreation Office understands this and offers special themed nights every month for families of children with disabilities. March's theme is, and we're quoting here, a whimsical world, and features plenty of activities for kids to take part in, including rhymes and riddles, puzzles, puppets, and a scavenger hunt, and a lot more. This is coming up on Friday, March 6, from 6:30 to 8 in the PM portion of the day at Langston Brown Community Center and Park. They're located at 2121 North Culpeper Street. No advanced registration is required. However, there is a take two, a $2.50 cash only entry fee. So beware of that. Daniel.
And Craig, now on to our next CBB story for tonight. Deers are more than just animals who like to run in front of your car while you're driving. They're beautiful, fascinating creatures. Learn all about deers at this event for kids ages 6 to 12, and then use your knowledge to draw your own deer. Art supplies will be provided, though participants are welcome to bring their own as well. This all happens on Saturday, March the 7th from 10 to 11 a.m. in the Long Branch Nature Center at Glen Carlin Park. That's located at 625 South Carlin Springs Road. Register online or give them a call at 703-228-4747. And Craig, as always, we want to thank our own Jordan Kuharski for this week's CBB Stories. Thank you, Jordan, for all of your hard work and certainly your great dedication.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Jordan. Yes, deer do like to jump in front of cars. Why do they do that? Who knows? All right, we'll be back with our 55 plus news right after we hear from Denise and her thoughts on Mother Road. Here's Denise.
Mother Road, now playing at Arena Stage, is a play by Octavio Solis, which continues the story told by John Steinbeck in his classic novel, The Grapes of Wrath. That was the story of the Joad family, who left their family farm in Oklahoma in the 1930s when it was referred to as the Dust Bowl. They left their home and traveled along Route 66, which Steinbeck called the Mother Road, to begin a new life in California. There had been hopes and promises of a new life, plentiful jobs, and generous wages when the Joads began their journey, but the reality proved disappointingly different. Now, as Solis picks up the threads of Steinbeck's story and weaves a new chapter a generation later, Will Joad has a successful farm in Sallisaw, Oklahoma. He has a terminal illness and hopes to leave his farm to a family member. He is shocked to find out that the only surviving relative of Tom Joad is Martin Hodez, a young Mexican-American farm worker. The two meet in Arvin, California, and set out on a road trip back to Oklahoma. That trip eerily reflects the first taken by the Joads, complete with prejudice and the violence and misunderstanding it breeds. This production originated at Oregon Shakespeare Festival with director Bill Roach. For its run at Arena, the Fichandler has been simply designed by Christopher Acebo with the road dissecting it diagonally. A couple of overhead screens reflect the projections of Caitlin Pietras that track the progress of the journey. Most of the action takes place on a moving prop, actually two pieces that form a pickup truck. On the front seat, we usually see Tony Sancho as Martin, the macho young driver, and Mark Murphy as the curmudgeon Will, who begrudgingly loses his skepticism and racism. Along the way, the duo picks up some riders. Additionally, there's a chorus of sorts, who play minor parts in some of the scenes, and even inject humor when they depict a television set or a vending machine. Mother Road continues at Arena Stage through March 8th. Join Will Joad as he takes the same path between California and Oklahoma that his forefathers took, and share his soul-searching journey to discover his heir. I'm Denise Pringle. Now back to the news desk.
Mother Road, thanks, Denise.
I
That
think you
sounds
liked
like a
it.
good one. Yeah, I'd like to see that one myself, down
That
at
sounds
Arena
good.
Stage. Check it out. Okay, here we go as promised now, our 55 plus formerly News for Seniors segment, and away we go. Well, have you ever thought about writing your life's history but didn't know how to get started? Well, you may want to sign up for a 4-part series conducted by Donna Chandler. She'll walk you through the process and give you tips for getting organized and offer useful tools, resources, and steps for editing and completing the project. The first class takes place on Thursday, March 6, 1 in the afternoon at Langston Brown 55 Plus Center at 2121 North Culpeper Street. For more information, stop by Langston Brown or give them a call at this number, 703-228-6300. Daniel.
Well, the personal and professional relationship between 20th century Mexican artist Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera is legendary today. Art historian Joan Hart will discuss their often tumultuous story and provide new insights and revelations about these two artists. That's coming up on Monday, March the 9th at 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. So make sure you get that on your calendar, Craig, at the Aurora Hills 55 Plus Center. That's located at 735 18th Street South. There is a cost of $6 to attend. The presentation will be repeated on Thursday, April the 30th at 1:30 p.m. That's at the Lee 55 Plus Center, located at 5722 Lee Highway. For more information, call them, Aurora Hills, at 703-228-5722 or Lee at 703-228-0555. I know they say only $6, but it certainly seems like that's going to be worth it, Craig.
And $6 well spent.
Yep.
Thanks, Daniel. Also in our 55 Plus news segment, the Arlington County Central Library has instituted a book club for residents who are 55 years of age and older. The monthly discussions are led by a library volunteer. The book for March is Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari and will take place on Friday, March 6, from noon to 1 in the afternoon at Central Library, 1015 North Quincy. For more information, give them a call or stop by the library. Here's their number, 703-228-5960. Daniel, pickleball.
And we're ending it with a great story. Pickleball is the fastest growing sport nationwide among folks over 55, and Arlington has an ever-growing pickleball community. If you're thinking about jumping in, well, both Arlington Mill and Walter Reed 55 Plus Centers offer classes on Mondays, an experienced volunteer on hand to welcome newcomers, answer questions, and get you started. Paddles and balls will be available. Classes are available on Monday from 9 to 10 a.m. That's at the Arlington Mill 55 Plus Center, and that's located at 909 South Dinwiddie Street, and also on Mondays 9:45 to 10:30 a.m. at the Walter Reed 55 Plus Center, located at 2909 16th Street South. For more information, call 703-228-4771. And as always, we want to thank our own Judy Masomny for this week's 55 Plus Stories. Thank you so much, Judy. And pickleball, it's the fastest growing sport, and Arlington loves it.
And plus, it's just fun to say, isn't it?
Exactly.
Pickleball.
Pickleball.
Meet you down at the pickleball court. Okay. We'll be back for sign-off and bye-bye. After we hear from our styrofoam mom, here's Miriam Gennari and another installment of her Sustainable Scoop.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Sustainable Scoop. There are some people that cross corners, communities, and some that cross continents to solve sustainability issues around the world. And joining me today is Jessica Graham. She is one of those people. She's with a company called JG Global Advisories. Welcome, Jessica.
Thanks for having me.
Well, the last time you and I got together, I see you quite often on panel discussions. You're a subject matter expert on law, criminal law, international law as it relates to conservation, and you were talking about sustainable material management. You were also on a panel with Tommy Wells talking about the impact that a lot of America's consumption has on the rest of the world. So what's happened since then?
Thanks. Yeah, it's been a busy whirlwind with JG Global Advisory, working at the cross section of conservation and the environment with law enforcement. So Things have been quite busy. I work with a lot of executives from conservation organizations who are working on various issues from wildlife trafficking to climate change and deforestation. I help them with supporting efforts on strategic policy planning and stakeholder engagement, as well as with the private sector on sustainability issues, where companies are really trying to get behind doing the right thing and looking internally at where their progress is being made on sustainable development goals or how they're assessed on the environmental standpoint internally and where they can make profit but also save costs in doing the right thing.
Well, needless to say, a lot of these companies are companies that we find on our shelves in the grocery store or we drive as automobiles. And yes, consumers are becoming more conscientious about issues of sustainability, about conservation. And I would guess that businesses need some advice on how to make good fiscal decisions while at the same time recognizing that the time has come to consider the environment in their business decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm coining it as environmental profitability, addressing where they're saving, but also it's not just about lowering costs and they're not just supply chains, but value chains, but increasing efficiency to have a greater impact.
And the negative impact of that, I know you saw recently when you were at the Sundance Film Festival. Tell us a little bit about Ron Howard's movie and what he said to the public.
Yeah, I was on I joined their panel with Ron Howard and the former EPA Administrator Gina McCarthy, who's now the National Resources Defense Council President. And they really, on the documentary they did with Nat Geo and Entertainment Weekly, they did it's called Rebuilding Paradise, and it was about the fires that happened in Paradise, California, and the impact that had. And what Ron really highlighted, which took the message home for me, is about showing up for your community, showing up, taking a role, whether it's climate change or other environmental issues that we just can't ignore at this time. And Gina McCarthy's message was also very impressionable in that, resiliency is so important when communities such as Paradise was devastated by the fires, and rebuilding that.
And rebuilding it in a sustainable way. There are tragedies that happen, but guiding governments, as you do, and also NGOs, on how to leverage the opportunity that comes from perhaps rebuilding and looking at development in a new way.
Yeah, I work in a very dark world where you're looking at law enforcement and the crimes involved in the environmental aspect. And so for me, it is it's having that hopeful optimism and continuing to have that to engage all stakeholders, not just governments, but private sector leaders. In the absence of federal leaders, you find other countries stepping up. You find other entities such as state and local government leaders stepping up to fulfill a lot of these agreements that we've done internationally or environmental aspects writ large.
So I think that young people are really hearing the message and echoing that voice. I know you had the opportunity to hear Greta Thunberg speak, and you also had the opportunity recently to sit down and hear Lonnie Bunch, Secretary of the Smithsonian, talk about their goals for conservation and how he maintains optimism. Tell me just real quickly, what was your impression?
I think in comparison to those two individuals, you really feel the importance of, in the face of adversity, overcoming that and overcoming those challenges in a way that navigating through any challenge you can overcome. Whether it was for Lonnie, it was identifying the location, building it over a swamp, the African American Museum in particular I'm talking about, and all of those challenges that came on that, from the political side to the management side to the environmental aspect, and he crossed through two different presidential administrations for that over the years of that building. With Greta, she has used her emotions, and she appears to feel overwhelmed without the leadership and decision policymakers making a stance and taking action quick enough. And so, I think a voice needs to be heard, trusting the process, being optimistic that there is hope for change, that everyone has a role to play. These are all important messages that I've been surrounded by, just even, with Sundance, for example. The Hollywood community wants to do more on climate change. You heard it at the Oscars being spoken about. So all of these areas are really important for all stakeholders across communities to engage on important issues.
I'm just so grateful that you're at the cutting edge of policy, business, and the grassroots movements that make communities grow and succeed. So, and by the way, young people say that policy is a lot more fun than they thought it was. So I think that's a testament to the work you're doing. Yeah. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the Sustainable Scoop. How do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can reach me on my website. We have a website, jgglobaladvisory.com.
Okay, great. We'll definitely look you up, jgglobaladvisory.com. Write that down. You may not need that number or that email, but I bet you know somebody who might. I'm Miriam Gennari. That's the Sustainable Scoop. Back to the news desk.
All right, and indeed we are back at the news desk here. Thanks,
back.
Miriam, and another installment of our Sustainable Scoop. We appreciate it. And just before we go here, we have two things actually. A belated happy 6-month birthday with a picture, if it's still up over here, of young Mr. Baker Craig. 6 months and about...
Oh, beautiful.
6 months and about 2 weeks or something like that, as of 12 February. So he's coming up on 7 months here pretty soon. But happy belated 6 months birthday, Baker Craig. My little grandson, he's amazing. And also, we have a birthday here. Our audio guru, Mary Fantuccio, there in the control room, helping you hear all of us, is at the sound console in there, making things work. So we'd like to say happy birthday to Mary. And you want to try this?
Yes, let's go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mary. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Woo!
So thanks for all you do back there behind the scenes, helping people hear us every day, whether they want to hear us or not. Back there at the audio console in the control room, we appreciate it. We appreciate all of you watching, suffering through another half hour of Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News. If you're out there next week, we'll be back here and we'll try it all again. Have a safe week. Bye-bye.